Hello, this is Max with RevScale Reporting, and I want to talk about probably our most valuable tool besides segment performance. So this is the Flow dashboard overview. Can look a little bit intimidating at first, but I want to break it down to show how exactly you can use it and use cases. So a quick walkthrough through the actual tool. You have a monthly and weekly view set. You have your monthly toggles here and filters. You have your client filters, and then you have a searchable filter. Okay, so what this is it's all your flows and all your flow sets, and it has conditional formats based off whatever metric you want. So in this case, we're filtering it by revenue right here, and we can see the top performing flows for June for this client, right? And see as we go down on flows, it goes to 0. Now, if you're a brand and you want to say, hey, I want to make sure like people are just seeing my emails and match it up with traffic, let's say on the welcome flow, example quick use case here, type in welcome, go by recipients and see all of these and say, okay, great. These welcome flows are all receiving it. The traffic kind of lines up more or less. You can go back to the overview tab, and then you can go to June, go to day, and then let's go to week or even month and say, okay, 86,000 people in June received all my flows, right? And then if you want to dive in deeper and see who received your welcome flows, you can see right here. So if you click on an email, let's click on this replenishment flow. At the bottom, this separate bar is going to show you all the individual flow messages inside this flow set. So you can see welcome email 1 through 6, and then there is data here. You can see I can kind of like move this bar at the bottom, which is great. But you might want to get more granular. You might want to see weekly data. Say you're doing optimizations on a really big brand and you're measuring like revenue per recipient, and you're saying like, hey, how are, like on a post-purchase flow, maybe you're split testing, offering different products. You're selling the best sellers on the top of funnel opt-in sequences on the landing pages, and on the bottom of funnel in the back end post-purchase, you want to split test different types of SKUs. Maybe it's like accessories, and you want to see like what's hitting the most, maybe on cross sells, upsells, or post-purchase after they buy those best sellers, right? Well, this is a great tool to look at that. Toggle to monthly, go to replenishment. Let's get a flow breakdown. And that same table we saw, we can see here at the bottom again. And then if you toggle to multiple months, it's going to show you a breakdown of March through June. But I really like this tool for your dashboard. So you can now see how these messages combined do. So it's summation of recipients and revenue, or an average of open, click, and RPR, right? Or you can deselect and go to just that email number 1 if you want to see how that's been doing. Want to see a weekly view? I mean, this is really great data to see like what's going on, right? So for the optimizers who are, adding new flows, split testing subjects, previews, body text, different offers, codes, and they want to see the difference between what's going on, this is a great tool. As you shorten the time frame, as with all the other types of tools we're using within this dashboard, you always want, to toggle, to a shorter, day, week, month, or year button. And so they'll just, tell different stories, right? Click rate, RPR, everything just looks a little bit different. So yeah, I mean, potential use cases kind of go crazy here, right? Because it's not just, once say you're like reporting and you're really working on a certain set of flows, like welcome series. Well, now you can really show day over day, week over week, how that welcome flow is actually doing after your recommended changes, right? Right. Maybe like a client you onboarded already had really good flows. They're like, hey, I just want you to improve the top performing flows, right? Well, now you can compare. If you go to May Now we're going back. Say May was a different flow sequence, and then um, June you changed it. Well, now you can see the difference in the data like very clearly, right? We had a client, who we were warming up, and they were like, "How's warm up doing?" And so we went here and we said, "Hey, update on warming." This shows a weekly view of their welcome flow. Open rates have seen a jump in the last week, around 50% open rates, started around 30 and now 50 to 70. You can't go to the Klaviyo Flow Editor or Klaviyo Flow Analyzer and like look at this data, right? It doesn't show you individual flow messages or views like this, right? You have to like toggle by their date, and it just shows you like 4 metrics: open order rate, click rate, etc. So this way you can really paint a picture that's digestible to the client. You really can't do that, before. So this tool is great for that. And what that is, and what I'm showing you, is a situational, use case. A client's asking you a question, and if you or your AMs or strategists are really deep in the weeds of a client, you know what's going on very intimately. And when they ask a question, why is welcome series not receiving anything? Maybe the pop-up's broken. How's warm-up going? Hey, how those campaigns or flows do, that we just put live? Now you can go dive into the individual flow message, screenshot this really quick, and add in your color copy, right? So this is really great for that. So yeah. Okay, so another thing to note is you can do a filter. So as I think I already covered this just now actually in these 6 minutes, but great to do just to like search what's going on. This client has a bunch of different welcome flows. And so we say we want to see what's the highest performing welcome flow. We can filter by there and check that out as well. So yeah, I think for flows, if you're comparing, a previous agency to yours, or old flows, old naming conventions, use this search filter tool, telling a story through this conditional formatting and finding like interesting data and insights. Maybe you want to see like what's happened to open rates and why this flow is doing so well. It looks like recipients are so low, it doesn't matter. Let's look at like the worst ones, let's remove that filter. Open rate month over month. This one had like the worst. This one had the worst. Here we go with actual data, 30%. Maybe just less people are just inside the flow sets, right? But it could be something else. Showing optimizations by clicking and getting the flow breakdowns. All those are just super helpful. So I would say that's most of the use cases. And people are finding their own use cases since agencies are just using this for different things. I think really the best use case for this is how fast it is to really like get a really quick check on how flows are doing, right? Because you can just go to weekly and see the last week and say, okay, what's done the best? What's done, like the worst? And then you can really like piece together, like, what's been happening. Like, let's go to a week before and see post purchase has like been crushing on this replenishment flow. This replenishment flow just has continued to provide a lot of revenue for this client, and like as we see that data come over time, maybe we're like, okay, we should beef up this replenishment flow because people keep buying from this flow. Or let's think of like different unique offers, or let's add a different replenishment flow of a different time constraint. Maybe it's at 30 days to trigger. Let's do a 45-day one and a 60 one because this style is doing so well for the client, right? So there's a million ways to interpret the data, and it's up to you to decide that, right? Say also you are not meeting the KPIs set internally with your agency. Say click rates should be for all of your clients' flows at a certain percent. Like you can't really trust click rates right now, to be honest, right? So maybe we're looking at like open rates instead, and we see that there's a big drop. Let's go to monthly, and let's go here, open rates, and now we can see that there's a drop down here. And why are these flows doing so bad on their open rates? Like, are these all going to spam? Like, is there a high bounce or something? Like, are they getting into an Octane AI quiz and it's all like spam emails or something? These are questions to be asked. So you can go here and just do a gut check of your client, dive into the weekly views and see like, what's going on. get really quick insights here on the individual flows, and then visualize it for your clients if necessary. So lots and lots of use cases for this flow set. I mean, not to mention how quick it is to toggle between all your clients and then see what's going on after you look at, maybe a macro overview. This is just like a superior tool if you think about multiple clients you're managing and wanting to like really dive into the data like within minutes. You could institute an SOP where every week all your AM strategists or you dive into a couple clients and you want to just do a quick, update and say, hey, screenshot welcome flow breakdown last 4 weeks. Just a quick update. This has been, the revenue that we've been generating for you. The optimizations we've done have been playing out correctly. The warm-up's been playing out correctly. So you can screenshot like the total overall flows and then this individual flow and say, hey, these few flows that we have a detailed breakdown of have been doing the best and been carrying the team. So we want to optimize these further, or we want to double down on XYZ, right? Like it's really up to you as to how you want to use this tool, but I want to give you a million example use cases so you can take that and run with your clients.